Rakesh Jhunjhunwala started trading in 1985 when Sensex was at 150, and we all know it, the rest was history.
Why is Rakesh Jhunjhunwala a successful investor?
His patience has surely made him billions.
The man with the Midas touch, they call him.
Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has an approach that just doesn't seem to falter.
When you have the folk hero of Indian stock market.
Because there are so many young people who take so much inspiration from Rakesh Jhunjhunwala.
We're talking about the wizard of the Lal Street, the Pied Piper of the Indian stock market.
I think I would like to take success with all humility. And we must realize that all success is temporary and transient. It should not change us as humans. I think that's one thing which I would never like to change. And always never forget hum kaun, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala Share Bazaar Road Shop. Most of the mistakes are always made in the best of the times. So when your success comes, don't extrapolate it. That's always going to be the same. And you are not what you are because what you are. You are what you are because God chose you to be. So remember, it's all His doing. My philosophy in life has been characterized by two things: what my father taught me, what I experienced as a child, and what I experienced in markets. I think we have to take life and accept it as it comes for what it is, rather than what we desire it.
What time did you decide that you want to be your own boss?
I had an open mind until 2005-06. After that, I decided. See, the question is, it may give me some more money, but it takes away my freedom. It takes away the uniqueness of my relationship with my wife. So she's my only client, right? And I don't want to be answerable to anyone. I thought it may give me some wealth, but it will take away my freedom. But I'm a free bird.
A free bird he is, but also much more than that. In the pantheon of India's legendary investors, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's name burns bright. His confident swagger and bullishness about India have been abiding traits. And as he turned 60 this year, we turn back time on this wizard of the Lal Street to track the journey of his success. The many milestones of a story, that's the stuff legends are made of. This legend too had humble beginnings, in an era when a career in the stock market was often frowned upon.
We come from a community which is known for trading and speculative activity.
Correct.
Right? And, and then my father always encouraged me. He said, do one thing. He was a government servant. We had no real wealth or no business. So he said, if you don't study, you can become a peon. Otherwise, you do your BCom and do your CA, then you'll have security in life. And suppose you want to go to the stock market and don't succeed, then you can always go, lie back on a job.
My father was very apprehensive, especially because we didn't have capital of our own.
सीए की पढ़ाई करी थी तो मन में तो ऐसा ही था कि प्रैक्टिस करेगा, लेकिन इसको प्रैक्टिस करने में इंटरेस्ट नहीं था, तो मन में यही डर लग रहा था, पता नहीं आगे क्या भविष्य क्या होगा.
Testing period of my life was between 86 and 88. When, although I had done very well in the first year of my life financially, the period to 86 to 88 was I got married, I was not earning, I had no regular source of income. People always had that suspicion that whatever the stock markets, it's not a good place to go, it's, there is insecurity.
Stock market was not considered as a great place to start a career. And it was considered to be a very, a very speculative market. It's only speculators who don't have anything else to do, they go to the stock market. And since he was a chartered accountant, so it was very difficult for him to convince to his even family and others to convince that my profession is a stock market.
When I came with 500 rupees, I had a bag. I used to stand outside the ring. If I tell anybody there that my father is in the income tax department, they won't talk to me. So I used to tell them my father has a shop in Mulji Data Market. And my brother, who's a practicing chartered accountant, he introduced me to some of his clients. They used to get 10-12% in the bank. I said, I'll offer them 18% interest. So my first 2.5 lakh loan, the lady asked for security. I said, there's no security. She said, okay, I'll give you 1,25,000. Then after 10-15 days, clearing 15 दिन में होती थी. You give me 1,25,000 worth of security, I'll give you 1,25,000. So that's how I started. Another client of my brother gave me 10 lakhs. And in the first year itself, I earned 25 lakhs from that 12.5 lakhs.
Ever so often, Rakesh reminds himself of how small a space he started from and what it took to get the ball rolling in the first place. One of his chartered accountant brother's clients became the first people to offer him the capital he needed. He was given 7 lakh rupees to manage and invest, and that too, he was given the amount without security.
But I'll never forget my father for the advice he gave me that day. He said, never do this, I'll do this. He told me, you want to invest, but where's the money? I said, I'm not going to give anything, never come and do this before me, I'll do this. Right? But you have a house here, you can stay here. You're a reasonably good chartered accountant. If you don't do well in the markets, you earn 15,000-20,000 a month. So be fearless. Never forget your word is your bond. May God bless you, for He is the ultimate blesser. And I never forgot his words that be fearless and be responsible. Then I had one Mr. Mendonça, my brother's client, and I'll never forget that man in my life. He gave me 7.5 lakhs, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, chartered accountant, no office, man of the streets of the Bombay Stock Exchange, right? And he gave me 7.5 lakhs, and I went and gave him security. And he came home and returned it security. He said, Rakesh, I trust you, I don't want to lose.
When I was about to give him the check, he got me a suitcase. And after a week or so, I opened the suitcase and it was full of shares, which he had kept as a security. I didn't expect it. I didn't ask him. He used to give me a very heavy interest, which people told me was a bit too high for a person. I respected him as a man.
Courage of conviction. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has always believed he had it. From the time he put in his first 5,000 rupees in the stock market when the Sensex was at a mere 150 points to now when he rolls in the billions, even as the Sensex soars above the 30,000 levels. A phenomenal rise, but not random, sparked off in his formative years with a certain sense of inquisitiveness.
Rakesh is really the baby of the family. He was a sweet little chubby boy. He was very intelligent, full of confidence. He would not be afraid to talk to anybody.
He had long curly hair like Sai Baba. He was the baby of our family and he was very stubborn.
Rakesh was born in Mumbai on the 5th of July 1960 into a middle-class Marwari family.
The fondest memories of my childhood are when I used to play in the income tax colony, table tennis, cricket, and also around the discussions I had with my dad on various topics. I mean, we used to discuss, I was a very curious child, and we'll discuss subjects ranging from history to markets. I mean, fascinating. And also I think the memory of my childhood is the Diwalis we had to have, and that time Diwali really meant Diwali because you got a new shirt once in a year and you got new shoes and bursting of crackers. Also I think the age in which my values were set, where we had rich friends, we understood the difference between aspiring and envy, right? The fights and the love that I got from my siblings. Then when I look back and I think the kind of sacrifice I realized my parents had made to bring me up, especially as a difficult and troublesome child. I mean, they were very fond memories and fond learnings. My dad used to trade and invest in the markets. In the evening would drink with his friends, they would discuss the markets and I would sit there and listen to them. And that arose my basic interest in the markets. I used to watch prices, they fluctuate. And I, being the curious child that I was, and my father being the patient man that he was, he would always answer my question. He's bullish on India from bottom of his heart and mind, both. And he's a really very hard worker actually. When time comes, he can put 18 hours a day in the working, non-stop. And he believed in investment in India's future.
It's those early values and the experience he garnered over the years that solidified Rakesh's beliefs, almost transforming into his commandments, like being optimistic and investing into the larger picture, driven by wisdom and volumes rather than intelligence. And by the same logic, he lives by the rule that a decision to exit an investment should be independent of profit or loss. But perhaps one of the most crucial is to be patient and have the power of conviction. Because like he says, patience may be tested, but conviction is rewarded.
98% of the money made in the stock market is by being a bull.
It's important what we buy. I think it's more important what price we buy. You have to dream. You have to dream with your head held high, but your feet on the ground.
Stock market is as much about psychology as about reality.
Correct.
Right? So unless you have a temperament where you can adjust to the stock market, you cannot succeed there.
So you have to really...
And the only king is the market. There are no kings in markets. They say markets climb a wall of worry. When I see so much worry around, I feel refreshed.
It's these philosophies and beliefs that have helped Rakesh invest and trade in the markets with roaring success year after year, decade after decade. So what's the filter that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala uses to value companies and choose winners?
I only think of 5 things. First is people. Patience. Because if you are impatient, you make the biggest mistakes. Right? Technology. Frugality and governance.
Once a bull, always a bull. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's love and faith for India have convinced him to take big bets on the India story.
I have belief in India's growth because I think that which constitutes the fact. See, everybody has a chemistry, right? There is DNA. India's DNA is such that there will be growth. We have the best skills in the world, right? We did not make the nuclear bomb by stealing technology, we did not sell it to it. If you read about the mission to Mart, how we have done, it's unbelievable, right? Google has an Indian CEO, Microsoft has an Indian CEO, right? Tata Sons has someone educated in India. So Indian skills, it's a genetic quality of Indians. We are going through the most favorable evolution of a demographic profile. We have a deeply ingrained democracy. I know of no society which has achieved growth and retained it without democracy. So I think this is a bull market which will continue for long periods. We could have a market like America when you had a bull market from 85 to 2007, 2009. Sorry, 2007 it peaked. A 22-year bull market. It peaked in 99, 14 years, and then again it did not lose those values, it regained them. So I feel we'll have a bull market which would last for 15 to 20 years.
These principles, coupled with an uncanny intuition and the ability to make decisions quickly, have given him that magical touch. Rakesh's biggest bets reveal the power of his mantras, be it in the 90s, the 2000s, or even the last decade. His portfolio has generated extraordinary returns, like Apollo Hospitals that went up more than 100x from 1998 to 2015, or Bata, which is also up 100x from 1996 to 2019. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's investments in CRISIL have paid off too, with a 200x increase in its stock price between the years 2001 and 2016. And his belief in pharma as a sector is quite evident in the way that Lupin has rewarded his faith. That stock has risen 160 times from 2003 to 2015. And these are but a few among a whole bunch of other stocks. Rakesh's investments in Titan too are arguably the most well-known and most celebrated for the kind of rise they've seen in value, and the particular affinity he has with the Tata Group stocks as a whole. The Titan stock has shown an incline of 80x between 2005 and 2020, and it's ended up being one of the largest contributors to Rakesh's wealth.
Tatas are blessed by God. They are my role model in life.
Are you, as an investor, are you happy and satisfied with the policy Chandra is taking to reboot?
Not happy, very, very happy.
Why do you say that?
Because he's actually, consolidating the group, affecting on cash flows, demanding performance, rewarding performance. I think taking the right policies. I am very, very happy.
There's a change of guard at Titan.
Yeah.
Does that bother you?
Not at all. I think the successor, of course, to have a successor to Mr. Bhaskar is not easy.
There are three things that associated Rakesh Jhunjhunwala uniquely with Titan. The leap of faith of finally putting a significant amount of money at that time came from intuition. And that quality our founder had, I'm sure there was a lot of analysis before he finally chose to. Rakesh understood the business not just as something that delivered great returns or growth, but from what opportunities existed for the company and what threats also. So he was unsparing in his criticism, he continues to be so, and yet very, very encouraging. I call him an inspiring investor because every time he made a presentation to the management went out feeling very inspired. India deserves many Rakesh Jhunjhunwalas, but as of now, there's only one. Uniquely Rakesh. All the very best.
Wearing the dual hat of trader and investor can always be a little dicey, but Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has managed to do it with equal elan. At several occasions, ET Now has quizzed him about how one balances the other, and the responses have always been trademark Rakesh Jhunjhunwala style.
What I've heard generally by interacting with global investors is bhai ya to trader ban jao, investor ban jao. Either you can be a good trader or you can be a successful investor. In your case, you've been a great trader and a successful investor. How do you manage both these aspects?
Well, if you have a wife and a mistress and you manage both well, you can do trading and investing both well.
So, whom would you say?
How do you manage that? See, you keep them apart, right? One should not know anything about the other. Well, see, investment is, a fall or rise in a value of an investment, unless it is extreme or it is, some event laden which has significance. The daily values have no significance to me at all. Trading is momentum. Trading is le phatapat, de phatapat. Maro or bhago. And you have to follow the crowd in trading. In investing, you can be a big contrarian and still make a lot of money. Trading trend is my friend. And trading, the ROEs are the highest. The cash flows are great. I love trading. Given a choice, I would like to make all my money out of trading. But that's not possible. You lose money also. I've lost money so many times. Short-term trading is for short-term gain. Long-term trading is for long-term capital formation. So trading is what, as I told you, I had no capital. Trading is what gives me the capital to invest, right? But also I must mention that my trading also helps my investing in the sense I use a lot of technical analysis also for trading at times. So, fundamentally, if I'm only an investor, I feel, oh no, the stock is overpriced, so I should sell. But my trading skills teach me that stocks can remain overvalued, get more overvalued, get more overvalued. So I may have invested, I know that as an investor the stocks are overvalued. But because of my trading skills, I hold on to my investments. So I think they complement each other in many ways, but they are two distinct compartments totally.
with an ability to think originally and not get carried away by others' opinions is a key attribute that many of his closest friends ascribe to Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's success. And who should know this better than one of his closest mentors and friends, Mart's Radhakishan Damani, whom he met by chance on the Lal Street, and the rest, as they say, is history.
You know, one thing about life is why I say God's grace and elders' blessing for all we know, that nobody introduced me and Radhakishan. We met on the streets of the Bombay Stock Exchange. I consider himself my guru because not only in market matters, right? But even in personal life, he has taught me so nice things, so many correct things that I can never forget. For example, he has taught me the importance of parents. He has told me that माँ बाप से बड़ा दुनिया में कोई नहीं. You know, and also the patience that he has, the points of view he has, the practicality that he has. But I don't say this guru to get anything out of him. I feel it from the bottom of my heart.
देख, frankly तो ऐसा लगता है कि he used so much respect to me that it puts me in embarrassing situations so many times. He's an original thinker. He thinks himself and he just doesn't get carried away with other people's thought process. He's a very sharp guy and he has really believed in Indian equity and India's prosperity.
The bonds with those he has worked with over the years have grown stronger. Rakesh commands the respect among the many who've come to know him closely as Bhaiya.
Mr. Jhunjhunwala, who we fondly call as Bhaiya, our friend, philosopher, guide, mentor. I remember 15 years back, we were having a drink somewhere near Bombay Hospital, and after a few drinks out of the blue, he just suggested that enough of all these sub-broking, just get started with broking, get a seat of your own on the exchange. And my immediate reaction was, Bhaiya, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of risk, administrative ability. He said, I know y'all can do it. He simply said, create an organization where mind is without fear, head is held high, and don't do anything which makes me look down. And true to his word, till date, he's never asked for anything. He's always given to us. Somebody who's always true to his word.
I was, I think, 12, 13 years old when I figured out what the stock markets were purely because of him. In 2005, I moved to Bombay to sign up for law school. One night at Jeffrey's, we had a 3-hour conversation, and during which he convinced me not to go to law school and study chartered accountancy instead. And 4 years later, when I had finished, I joined him at Rare to train under him. He was two different people for me at that time. One was this benevolent uncle at home who was kind and all of that, but in the office, he was a super sharp boss. He has a super compartmentalized mind. There's one part of him that is an investor and the other part of him that is a trader. The investor is the eternal optimist, big picture guy, doesn't sweat the small stuff. The trader is a super realist. He keeps his eyes on the numbers and on price all the time. He's fantastic with leverage. His internalized risk mechanism process is something I have never seen before. But the most wonderful thing about working for him was that he never told me what to think. Instead, he pushed me to develop a framework on how to think. And the many conversations that I've had with him, it just feels like that is knowledge distilled from, what you could learn from 50 books of investing. Working with him at Rare was at once a tremendous challenge and a tremendous privilege. A tremendous challenge because he's a really tough taskmaster, and when I worked with him, I had to make sure that every single fact that I presented to him was double-checked. In the rare occasion that I did present an opinion to him, I had to make sure that it was thought through 10 times over, because he does not suffer fools. He has had tremendous influence on my life, both personally and professionally. He describes life and investing as a tremendous process of making mistakes that you can afford, learning from them, internalizing them, and then always moving forward.
You literally forced me to invest in equity in 2002. And that's one reason I stand where I stand today. You have always encouraged me to take calculated risk, and above all, you continue to be an amazing mentor. You are a profound thinker, natural orator, immensely knowledgeable, and a great financial wizard. Let me end by saying, Bhaiya, you are the biggest bull India has ever seen.
Rakesh Bhaiya has been my friend, philosopher and guide. I've learned a lot from him. Two things. One, if the girl is beautiful, there will be many suitors for the girl. So don't worry about who will come and buy the company. The other thing, the highs are much higher than we can ever imagine, and the lows are much lower than we can ever think of.
While Rakesh is always watching his screens like a hawk at work, his personal life with family remains very special. Right from his growing up years with his dad, the Diwalis that they spent together, and his early aspirations. It wasn't like marriage changed his way of life. His abiding adoration for his wife Rekha and his 3 children have seemingly propelled growth in his diverse range of investments. His private stock trading firm, Rare, is short for Rakesh and Rekha.
I am born lucky, best of parents, best of siblings, best of friends, best of wife, best of in-laws. What else can a man want? He was a very democratic father. See, I think his death was a rude shock to me. It was so sudden. And what was startling about his passing away was that the hit was unconscious. It never played out in my actions, but it was always there in my heart. I don't know, wherever he is, I know I always have his blessing. I am very lucky to have the brother that I have. I don't think there is a more straightforward and good-hearted person than him. And I think he has contributed very much to my career, because I'll never forget 2 things in life, apart from so many others. That initially, it was on the basis of his goodwill that I got introduced to people who financed me, including Mr. Mentorship, who did it without any security, which I can never thank him enough. And if I had not got that capital, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala would not have been what Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is. Don't forget is that in 1979, my father and parents were promoted and they lived in Bangalore. Bhaiya was newly married. I, Bhabhi and Bhaiya used to live in Bombay. Daddy used to send a certain amount for the expenses. And I used to get 50 rupees a month as pocket money upon that. And you know, my brother who used to earn 15 rupees per month used to give me 50 rupees extra from his salary. And I think that 50 rupees is worth at least 15 lakhs. For sisters, I feel that हर बहन अपने भाई के लिए जान मेरे को लगता है कि माँ के बाद सबसे बड़े well wisher for every man is sister. At least I get that feeling from my sister. I have a very special relationship with my elder sister Sudha's family and in-laws. I lived in their house, and Ashokji is a very, very close friend of mine. And he also one person who guided me during my difficult days and also helped me, which I'll never forget.
He was always curious to know about everything. He used to always argue with his elder brother and father on various matters, and if Rakesh didn't agree on that matter, he used to always say, I agree to disagree. He will not listen to anybody unless it comes into his mind that he should do it.
Papa, sweet dream.
His work demands a lot of time.
आप जो चीज़ दो वो खाएगा, हंसेगा, सबसे मिलके खुश होता है.
Whenever he's free early, he try to make it come home early to play with the kids and talk with the mother and spend time with the family and all. Because basically he's a very family man, I feel. And if he doesn't get time in between, if he gets half an hour also time in between, if he's free, he calls the kids to the office and he wants to spend time with them and play with them. he make me so special when he do any new investment or something. He always buy a token from, for the shares or whatever he buys, in my name. So I feel very special.
My children has made me more conscious of how much life got me. Because I've had children late, and I feel it's a duty and responsibility that I must be present to bring them up to a certain age. So I was never bothered of life. Rekha's endurance and Rekha's bearing and her devotion and time and nature. It's every moment and every day my regard and love for her enhances.
He is the same person what I knew him last 23 years. He always used to ask me like, you love me, you love me. So now I can tell him, yes, I love him. I love him, what he was, what he is. He's a perfect husband.
Rekha ho Rekha, तुझको जो देखा, खाना पीना जीना सब हराम हो गया. अच्छा, तुमने आपकी जिंदगी हराम की? दारू पी के बोलते हो? मैं बोला मैंने पी शराब, तूने क्या पिया? आदमी का खून. अच्छा, तो मैंने आपका खून पिया है 20 साल शादी तक, कोई बात नहीं. ये बात है. बोला जिसका गुस्सा इतना हसीन हो, उसका प्यार कैसा होगा? होगा गा गुस्सा. अच्छा, तो मेरा प्यार कैसा है 20 साल तक मालूम नहीं है, खाली मेरा गुस्सा को मालूम है. कहाँ जाओगे?
It's not easy riding the highs and troughs of the stock market. Besides resilience to take on the many shocks and black swan events that the markets afford, you need a strategy that helps you register more wins than losses.
How has life changed for Rakesh Jhunjhunwala when he was in 40s and now he's going into his 60s?
I think he's much more subdued and much more mature.
I've interacted with Rakesh Jhunjhunwala for nearly 20 years now, both in a professional capacity and also in a personal capacity. Now, apart from being the original folk hero of Indian stock markets, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is an extraordinary human being. His word is his bond, and he has always honored his promise. I distinctly remember 15 years ago when I was about to decide to migrate from Delhi to Mumbai. He told me 3 things. Learn to take a risk, think big, and you'll always have a home in Mumbai. In stock markets, investors and traders, they always hold their cards very close to their chest. But Mr. Jhunjhunwala has been very vocal, open, transparent about his market view, his investments, and more importantly, his disclosures. What makes him different is his ability to look at the big picture. He's a quick decision maker, and for him, it's always a yes or a no. In last 20 years, we've seen twists and turns, and each time a crisis has happened, he's come out on public forums and has shared his view and has guided millions of investors. I distinctly remember one famous line of his, which is that markets always vote for rate of change. Don't look at what has happened. Try and figure out what are markets betting on next, which is how much of good news or bad news is in the price.
हसीनों का दीवाना ज़माना कहे फिर क्यों बुरा है दिल लगाना ए सारा ज़माना.
We are going to drink until the bar is empty. We are going to dance until the legs are broken, and we are going to eat until the stomach is blown. Hip hip hooray! I want to be shouting it.
The lure of films is always hard to resist. But again, Rakesh has invested in films like English Vinglish in 2012 and Key and Car that hit theatres in the year 2016.
Not I have made all the films with Balki.
Only with Balki?
Yeah, because see the film industry is an unsavory place, not easy place to trust.
Yeah.
And I don't mind losing money, but I mind being cheated.
No.
So, with Balki and all, I feel safe.
Unfailingly, every year at Diwali, Rakesh has these engrossing conversations on ET Now with the leading ladies of Tinseltown. The heady tete-a-tetes are the toast of the markets on those auspicious festive days.
Today I'm sitting with a man who actually needs no introduction, but for me it's a very interesting conversation and I'm dying to know all about him and all about his dreams and all about how he became who he became. I am with none other than Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, the man with the Midas touch they call you. First, what motivates you?
A sense of achievement. I deal with the stock markets. The stock markets are uncertain. Is the difference of opinion which makes the stock market interesting. And whenever there is a buy in the stock market, there is a seller. Right? See, wealth isn't going to mean much to me more. Right? But what gives me the thrill is of being proved right. And if I use the wrong methods in being proved right, I don't get a thrill. I get a thrill by reading, by understanding what's publicly available, and then being proved right is far more, and I live for a sense of achievement.
Actually, the stock market is a very dicey place to, kind of set your career in.
Everything which is good in good in life is dicey, man, including pretty girls. It's not that I have achieved all my financial aims. I want to buy a private plane. I want to be but I'm a frugal man. And I also want to do a lot of charity.
As a kid, did you always know that this is what you wanted to do when you were growing up?
Yeah, I think by the time I was 12, 13, I knew because my father also used to invest in the market. And, he would, discuss with his friends about the market. And at the age of 12, 13, people find something fascinating, fighter jets. Most people want to be plane pilots, somebody wants to be a journalist.
Exactly. At
that age, all my boys are interested in girls. But I found
you were not interested.
I was more interested in the stock market. So I found the stock market very intriguing because prices used to fluctuate. So that is why the price fluctuates.
Correct.
So my dad then used to try and explain to me, the worst financial events do not affect me and my lifestyle personally. And I can't go and tell my wife I've lost money. She'll say, I told you first only don't go to the stock market. I would tell you a story where I'll tell you later. So what goes wrong or right in my office, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is responsible. So don't say you're not responsible, right? Accept it, learn from it and move on. I deal with the stock markets. The stock markets are uncertain. Is the difference of opinion which makes the stock market interesting. And whenever there is a buy in the stock market, there is a seller.
Tell me about you. Tell me how is it like when you come back home? How do you unwind? I'm sure the stock market is a very busy, at least it seems like to a layman, because I have no idea about the stock market. Let me just put it out there for you guys. I have no idea.
But stock market is like women. Always commanding, always mistress, always uncertain. Always volatile, always exciting. So we want to perform well in the stock market. See, stock markets are as much about psychology as about reality.
Correct.
Right? So unless you have a temperament where you can adjust to the stock market, you cannot succeed.
So you have to really
and the only king is the market. There are no kings in markets. All those try to become kings of the stock market went to Arthur. So market is the king.
So
and you cannot have a good relationship with a woman by browbeating it. The only way you can have, this is something which I have learned really in life.
Correct.
The only way you can have is by respecting her, by understanding her, by adjusting with her. That's why markets like women, women like markets are actually very complementary and similar words. And I have two interests in life, markets and women. Both are concerned with 4-letter words. Markets with risk and women with love.
Oh, that's
I think business-wise, if I would say my mother is sharper than my father. I think so.
I think most women are sharper than men in finance matters.
You think so?
I think so.
Is it always been, or are you saying in today's time?
No, in the sense that, you know, all women in India are taught to save. They're taught to be frugal.
Right.
Right? And I don't know, I find ladies in general are more caring, more conscientious.
So caring also in terms of like caring towards money and expenditure.
And expenditure. So, and they have a greater sense of, they always worry more about the children than the father. I realize that no number one is permanent in life.
That is
not the richest man in the world, not the best actor in the world, not the best actress in the world, not the best movie in the world. So you must realize that all this success and all this wealth is all transitory. You know, all adjectives are transient and temporary.
They are.
Wealth, success, happiness, sorrow, taste. My advice to my children is, I want to teach them to give first.
Yeah.
Second, I want them to be responsible citizens. Third, I want them to do what they enjoy in life. They had enough wealth, so I want to be liberal towards them. I want to accept whatever they are.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be what I want them to be.
No,
I want them to be what they want.
Yeah, they have to follow their heart and their passion.
And I don't want to interfere in their life beyond a point.
Yeah.
Because I and Rekha, it's our life. Beyond a point, they will not be interested in us.
No.
We will not be interested in them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to intrude into their life.
While the lineup of beautiful faces looks unlikely to dry up anytime soon, after all, the big bull of the last street has, by his own admission, plenty more to accomplish in times to come, many more milestones to achieve, and this even as he hits a grand 60 this birthday. While E.T. now will track every bit of his success in the future, we still pause to ask him this.
Now, if a movie has to be made on you, your biopic, whom do you think should be the actor?
Actors का बोलना actor का क्या है? Actor तो मैं हूँ ना.